I'm Erin, and this is Post-its and Pens. Hello and welcome to or welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin, and here you will find a little beauty, a little books, and a little teaching content. So if that sounds like something you might enjoy, I would love for you to subscribe and stick around and join me in my little corner of YouTube. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to try my hand at the try a chapter tag, I guess. So let's go ahead and get into it. So it is currently April 10th, Sunday, April 10th, and my reading this month has been a bit lackluster. So I'm going to go ahead and just quickly talk about what I'm currently reading. So I am almost finished with All Her Little Secrets by Wanda M. Morris. I was listening to this one mostly on audio, but I have just the tiniest bit left right here. I was listening to it while I was at the grocery store. So I'm going to go ahead and read the rest of this today. This book is just okay. Like, I'm just not terribly into it. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just not interested. Same thing with the other one that I've started, which is Eon by Allison Goodman. I am currently on page 101, and I haven't touched this one in a week. So these were the two that I have going, but I don't know if you would call what I'm in a reading slump, but I'm just not wanting to pick up books. So I thought I would try this try a chapter thing and see if one of these can't spark my interest a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and talk very quickly. I have a stack, a very large stack of fiction books, because that's definitely kind of the way that I'm gonna need to go. So I have One Small Thing by Erin. This would fulfill my buzzword book for April. I have Paranormalcy by Kiersten White. This was a pick off my April Wheel of TBR. I have Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall. Same thing, it's on my Wheel of TBR. I have The Last Unicorn, which is also on my April TBR. Do you see, where the problem is coming in? And then I picked up two books from the library, three books, sorry. One is a reread. So I have the next one in the Wayward Children series by Seanan McGuire. This is book number 2, Down Among the Sticks and Bones, which I picked up. I also have The Poet X by Acevedo, which I picked up while I was on spring break and just kind of browsing the library, and I still haven't read it. And then I picked up A Darker Shade of Magic. This would be a reread. I listened to this one on audio probably like when it came out, and never finished it. Or I did finish it. Sorry, what am I talking about? I finished it, but I don't remember anything about this. I remember that I liked the audio, but I could not tell you what the heck happened in this book. And I really want to reread this and finish out the series, so I picked this one back up as well. So these three are not on my April TBR, but I'm going to include them in this try a chapter because maybe I need something that's not on my TBR to like jumpstart my reading again. So we're going to be trying a chapter of 7 books in this video. I will give you my very brief thoughts, and then I'll let you know which one I'm actually going to read. Yeah, so I'm gonna start with, let's see, you know what? I'm gonna be like over the top, and I'm gonna put these in alphabetical order based on author's last name. So hold that thought. Let me do that really fast. Okay, so this is what it looks like in alphabetical order, and this is the order that I'm gonna go ahead and read these in. So let's go ahead and dive in to The Poet X by Acevedo. So it looks like this one is divided by dates. So it starts off Friday, August 24th. So I think I'll read up until the next date, which is Tuesday, September 4th, which is page, oh, nope, I lied. Tuesday, April 28th, which is only 12 pages. So we'll give that one a go. Maybe I'll go to the next date. But yeah, let's go ahead and see what I think. Okay, quick and easy. This one has an interesting start. So you're being introduced to our main character. She is basically just giving us an idea of where she lives, what her mother does for a living. She mentions she has a twin brother, and she basically is talking about how she is unhideable. That's the name of one of the poems here. She says she's unhideable because she's tall, and she talks about how she's got too much body for such a young girl, and some of the things that people call her because of that. Her name is Xiomara. I think I said that right. Xiomara. She mentions how people don't know how to pronounce it, so she does like put the pronunciation right here. But yeah, so interesting start. I think this one would be a very quick read because it is in verse. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with the next one. So, book number 2 is going to be The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle. This is a fantasy book. I'm not the biggest fan of hardcore fantasy, but I feel like this one probably isn't that. The first chapter has 21 pages, so we're going to go ahead and dive into this one and see what I think. So, I will come back and tell you my thoughts. Alright, chapter 1 of this one is done. We've met the unicorn. She overheard 2 hunters talking about how there are no more unicorns anywhere in the world. So she sets out to see if that is true, and she's just been captured by a woman who runs like a circus of some sort. Let's see, Mommy Fortuna is her name. And, oh, Mommy Fortuna's Midnight Carnival. So she's just been captured by Mommy Fortuna, and she's woken up in the wagon cage that they built around her. So, intriguing start. I'm curious to see what's going to come next. As I mentioned, this one is on my April TBR, so reading this one next would probably be a good decision. But we'll see what I think of the next book, which is Boyfriend Material. This one has an audiobook, so that's like a point in its favor because I will be finished with All Her Little Secrets today, so I could start listening to this one. So that is a definite point in its favor. I'm pretty excited about this one. I've heard some good things about it, and I know that the sequel comes out later this year, so I would like to get this one read. It's also a book on my book bingo board right there behind me, so, you know, another point in its favor. But let's just see what the first chapter has in store. Doesn't look like it's very long. Yeah, 12 pages, 11 pages for the first chapter. So let's go ahead and dive in and see what I think about Boyfriend Material. Okay, chapter 1 of Boyfriend Material has been read. We've been introduced to Luke. Luke is a bit traumatized by something that happened with his ex-boyfriend, who apparently told a reporter like all about his life, and he is flirting with a guy at a club who turns out to also be like a reporter for like something similar to BuzzFeed, and he decides to show his whole ass to this guy, and the guy gets mad, and rightfully so, and leaves, and Luke leaves and passes out in a gutter or something like that, like, you know, yeah. So that's where we are. That's what happened in chapter 1. So interesting start. Obviously, I know a little bit about the premise of this one, so because of what just happened in the first chapter, I'm assuming he decides to find a fake boyfriend, enter Oliver, and the story goes from there. Fake boyfriend that turns into a not so fake boyfriend. Yeah, so, yeah, I may start listening to this one on audio. I think that would probably be the smartest decision since it is on my April TBR. Now I'm going to go ahead and move on to Down Among the Sticks and Bones. This is got to do with Jack and Jill, I believe. Is that correct? Yes, Jack and Jill, who we met in the first book of the series. This first chapter is about 18 pages, 19 pages. So we'll go ahead and give this this one a go and see what I think. And as I have been, I will come back and tell you what I think. I am leaning towards not reading this one right now simply because it is not on my April TBR, but I also know that it's going to be a quick read. So we'll see. Let's see how the first chapter goes. Okay, in this one, chapter 1 introduces us to Jack and Jill's parents, who only wanted to have children because they thought they were supposed to, and because everyone else around them had had children. So they were not prepared for parenthood, and their father wanted a boy, mom wanted a girl. It was twins, both of which were girls, and that's the setup. So if you read the first book in the series, this kind of gives you some background into maybe why Jack and Jill are the way they are, considering their parents. So that was interesting. I got through the first book in this series pretty quickly, so I'm sure this would be like a pretty quick read. But again, this isn't on my April TBR, so I'm going to keep going and see if I can't find one that kind of pulls me in more. So far, I don't know that any of these are like, I have to pick this up and read it now. You know, like I haven't gotten that feeling with any of these yet. So we have 3 more left. We're going to go ahead and go back on into A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. As I mentioned, I've read this one before, but I don't remember anything about it. So I'm looking forward to reading it in print this time and seeing if that helps it stick a little bit more. I remember liking it, but I just don't remember pretty much anything that happened. So the first chapter is just this little bit right here. It's 19 pages. Let's go ahead, dive into this, see if it can't like spark a little bit of my memory, and see what I think. So here we go. If we're going by intrigue, this one definitely wins thus far. I actually went ahead and read 2 chapters of this one. I still don't remember like much about this. I just read the synopsis again, like on the flap. So I remember a little bit, but I don't remember like specifics or details at all. So I think rereading this would be like reading it again for the first time. So right now, this is the winner. The problem, of course, is that this isn't on my April TBR, but if it gets me reading, that's not necessarily a bad thing. So right now, this is in first place. I have 2 books left, both of which are on my April TBR. So we're going to go ahead and get into One Small Thing by Erin Watt. This one is about a girl named Beth. says when Beth sneaks out to a party one night and meets the new guy in town, Chase, she's thrilled to make a secret friend. It seems a small thing just for her, only Beth doesn't know how big her secret really is. Chase has like some issues. He was in juvie, he's out now, he wants to start his life over. But he played a role in Beth's sister's death, I guess. So yeah, this one's not very long, and I really liked the, what was it called? I think they were called The Royals. The first book was Paper Princess. I really liked that series, so I'm excited to read another one by them. This is like a dual writing team if you are not familiar. But yeah, so let's see. This one has only 12 pages, and they're like fairly decent margin size. I'll go ahead and show you, like, you know. So I'm gonna go ahead and get through those 12 pages, see what I think about this one. This one also has an audiobook, so I might go that route depending. Right now it's between, it would be between these two in terms of audio. So we'll see which one kind of grabs me the most. But yeah, let's go ahead and do One Small Thing by Erin Watt, and I'll let you know my thoughts. And then we'll move on to the final book, and I will make a decision. Okay, I actually went ahead and read the first 2 chapters of this one because they weren't very long. So I'm on chapter 3, page 27. We've been introduced to Beth. Beth's sister, Rachel, died 3 years prior to the start of this book. Her parents are very strict. They aren't giving her like any freedom, and she's kind of rebelling a little bit by going to a party where she meets Chase, and that's where we've stopped. So yeah, not really much to go by as of yet, but I think this is going to be a very fast read. So I think I'm gonna do audio for this one and probably have it done within the next couple, like, first few days of the week, honestly, because this is a pretty short book. It's only got like 297 pages or something like that, 299. So I'm betting that I can be done with this probably within the next few days listening to audio. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this one as my audiobook, and we have one book left, which is Paranormalcy by Kiersten White. I have had this on my shelf forever. When did this even come out? This came out in 2010, and I have probably owned it since then, or at least since like the paperback was released. Paranormal, YA, probably a romance, maybe? We'll see. This one has 8 pages. So I think I'll probably read the first 2 of this one as well, and then come back and we'll decide. But as of right now, I am thinking this will probably be the book that I go with, even though it's not on my April TBR. But I don't know. This one could pull me in, so let's find out what it's going to be. Okay, so this one had an intriguing beginning. We're introduced to Evie. Evie works with the International Paranormal Containment Agency. She has the ability to see through supernatural beings' glamours, and she works at like tracking and containing supernatural beings. So the book starts off with her tracking down a vampire. She reports back to like home base or whatever, and she's woken from this very weird dream when there's like an emergency alarm going off, and she goes to her supervisor's office where she sees like a being that's wearing a glamour to look like her boss, and she tases the being. And that's where we are. So I think this is going to be a pretty quick read. It is, you know, YA paranormal romance. It's the first in a trilogy, I believe. I only own this one. This is on my April TBR, so I think I'm actually going to go with this one next. It has an intriguing enough beginning that I think I can get into it fairly easily, and it'll just be kind of like brain candy, basically. So that's the plan. I'm going to read this one. I'm going to listen to this one. And those are going to be the next two books that I tackle in the month of April, both of which are on my April TBR. So that is a bonus. Yeah, I enjoyed this. I've never done like a try a chapter thing before. Typically, I don't have a problem just picking up a book and reading it, but none of these were really calling to me, so I'm glad I went ahead and gave them a go. So these three were definitely my favorites, although I did enjoy the first chapter of Boyfriend Material as well. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I can actually get some reading done. My plan is to do a week-long reading vlog this week where I read for an hour every night after work, which sounds like not a lot, but it's hard for me because I'm usually tired when I get home. But maybe these will be the ones that you'll see in the vlog. Maybe I will get through these quickly and I can put some other ones in. So stay tuned for that. We'll see how it goes. But I'm definitely thinking after I finish this one that I'm going to go ahead and dive into this one as a reread. Because this one was definitely also very interesting and I would like to reread it so that I can continue the series. So yeah, not a bad way to spend a bit of time today. And hopefully this will jumpstart my reading for the month because I definitely have some books I need to get through. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave me a thumbs up, consider subscribing to my channel to see more from me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye everyone.